In a small town surrounded by giant mountains, there lived a young man named Eli. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. But he had a dream that seemed too big for a boy from a small place. Every morning, from the window of his tiny house, he would look up at the tallest mountain, its peak hidden by clouds, and whisper, "One day, I'll stand up there." People laughed at him. "You climb that mountain? You can't even climb the hill behind the school." But Eli didn't argue. He just smiled quietly. He knew the real mountain was not made of rock and ice. It was made of fear, doubt, and faith. And that mountain was inside his heart. Eli began to train. He woke up before the sun. While others were sleeping, he was running through the cold air, feeling his lungs burn, his legs ache. He studied old maps of the trail, learned how to tie ropes, how to breathe at high altitudes. He wasn't strong, he wasn't fast, but every day he tried. At first, it was exciting. He imagined himself at the top, smiling proudly. But as days passed, the excitement faded. His body hurt. His friends stopped joining him. Some mornings, he didn't even want to get out of bed. One evening, as he sat alone after another failed climb, an old man approached him, a retired climber named Thomas. Thomas looked at him with kind eyes and said, "Son, the mountain will test you, not your legs, but your heart." Eli didn't understand those words, but he never forgot them. A few months later, Eli was ready. Or at least, he thought he was. He packed his small bag, kissed his mother goodbye, and began his climb. The first part was easy: green trails, soft wind, birds singing. He felt unstoppable. But soon, the mountain began to change. The air grew thin, the trail turned rocky, the wind became cold and cruel. Every step felt heavier. He slipped more than once. His knees were bleeding, and his fingers were numb. He shouted into the empty sky, "Why is it so hard?" But the mountain didn't answer. Only silence. Only his own heartbeat. That night, he made a small fire and looked at the stars. He felt small, alone, and scared. He whispered, "Maybe they were right. Maybe I can't do this." The next morning, a heavy fog surrounded him. He couldn't see the path. He couldn't see the sky. He couldn't even see his own hands clearly. Fear filled his mind. What if he got lost? What if he fell? His thoughts became louder than the wind. He sat down on a cold rock, his head in his hands, whispering, "I should go back. This is impossible." And then, suddenly he remembered the old man's words. The mountain will test your heart. He realized something powerful. The mountain wasn't stopping him. He was stopping himself. He stood up slowly, took a deep breath, and said out loud, "I will keep going, even if I can't see the top." Step by step, he began to walk again. Not quickly, not perfectly, but with faith. Hours passed. The air was freezing now. Each breath felt like fire in his lungs. He wanted to stop so many times, but every time he fell, he remembered why he started. He wasn't climbing to prove them wrong. He was climbing to prove himself right. At one point, he fell hard, his knee bleeding. He screamed in frustration. Then he looked up at the sky and said, "If this mountain wants to break me, it will have to try harder." He laughed through the pain, not because it was easy, but because he had found his strength. When Eli finally reached the top, the sun broke through the clouds. Golden light touched his face. The world below looked so small, the same world that once told him he couldn't make it. He dropped his bag, fell to his knees, and cried. Not tears of pain, tears of freedom. He whispered softly. It wasn't the mountain I conquered, it was myself. And in that silence, high above the clouds, Eli felt something he had never felt before, peace. Because now, he knew. The power to climb, to rise, to overcome was inside him all along. When Eli returned, everyone was surprised. They asked, "How did you do it? What secret did you use?" Eli smiled and said, "There was no secret. I just kept walking, one step at a time." He looked at the children who had gathered around and said, "Each of you has your own mountain. Maybe it's learning English. Maybe it's finding confidence. Maybe it's believing in yourself when nobody else does. But listen to me, don't give up. Every step, every mistake, every fall brings you closer to the top. The truth is, we all have mountains inside us. They may look different, but they all ask us the same question. How much do you believe in yourself? So, when life feels heavy, when the fog hides your path, remember Eli. Remember that the journey matters more than the destination. And when you reach your own peak, you'll realize you never climbed to the mountaintop to show the world. You climbed to discover who you truly are. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. New story, new journey.